The House will come to order. Prayer by the chaplain.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Andy Smith, and I'm the senior pastor at St. John's Lutheran in Lakeville. Thank you, Representative John Poston, a friend of mine and former parishioner, for inviting me today. And greetings to my representative here in Lakeville, John Kosnick. I'll be referencing Psalm 90 in today's prayer, so let us pray, everyone. God of life, you have told us in the Psalms that you are our dwelling place in all generations, chronological generations, but likely you also mean all the generations of our experiences, our growing understandings, our evolving struggles and challenges, and the widening grandeur of our discoveries and joys. You are our dwelling place of refuge and safety, but also deep love and care and nourishment in every time and every place, every moment, even now. May we open ourselves to you, O God, and trust you embracing us in these important endeavors and conversations, decisions again today. May we sense that the relationships we build within your dwelling place here, in your presence, are life-giving and even sacred. Finally, may we all know we serve you and serve every neighbor in our state. Let what happens here again today create a stronger and more healthy dwelling place for every person in the state of Minnesota. We come with whatever faith or introspection we bring, and we pray to you, O God. Amen. God bless you all. Thank you for serving.
Thank you for your prayer. The chaplain for today is Reverend Andy Smith from St. John's Lutheran Church, Lakeville, Minnesota. Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Members, when the chief clerk calls the roll today to establish a quorum, please state your name, your location, and that you are present. The clerk will take the roll.
Acom,
Minnetonka, present.
Acom, Minnetonka, present. Agbadge,
Minneapolis, present.
Agbadge, Minneapolis, present. Ackland, St. Paul, present. Albright,
Prior Lake, present.
Albright, Prior Lake, present. Anderson,
St. Paul, present.
Anderson, St. Paul, present. Backer,
St. Paul, present.
Backer, St. Paul, present. Bonner,
Maple Grove, present.
Bonner, Maple Grove, present. Barr,
East Bethel, present.
Barr, East Bethel, present. Baker,
Wilmer, present.
Baker, Wilmer, present. Becker, Finn,
Roseville, present.
Becker, Finn, Roseville, present. Bennett,
St. Paul, present.
Bennett, St. Paul, present. Berg,
St. Paul, present.
Berg, St. Paul, present. Bernardi,
New Brighton, present.
Bernardi, New Brighton, present. Bierman,
St. Paul, present.
Bierman, St. Paul, present. Bliss,
Beltrami County, present.
Bliss, Beltrami County, present. Bow,
Chanhassen, present.
Bow, Chanhassen, present. Bolden,
Rochester, present.
Bolden, Rochester, present. Burkle,
St. Paul, present.
Burkle, St. Paul, present. Carlson, St. Paul, present. Christensen,
Stillwater, present.
Christensen, Stillwater, present. Daniels,
St. Paul, present.
Daniels, St. Paul, present. Doubt, excused. Davids,
St. Paul, present.
David, St. Paul, present. Davney,
St. Paul, present.
Davney, St. Paul, present. Damath.
Damath, Rochester, present.
Damath, Rochester, present. Detmer.
Detmer, Forest Lake, present.
Detmer, Forest Lake, present. Drazkowski.
Drazkowski, Winona, present.
Drazkowski, Wilmer, present. Eklund.
Eklund, St. Paul, present.
Eklund, St. Paul, present. Edelson.
Edelson Edina, present.
Edelson, Edina, present. Elkins.
Elkins, St. Paul, present.
Elkins, St. Paul, present. Erickson.
Erickson, St. Paul, present.
Erickson, St. Paul, present. Feist.
Feist, St. Paul, present.
Feist, St. Paul, present. Fisher.
Fisher, Maplewood, present.
Fisher, Maplewood, present. Frankie.
Frankie, St. Paul Park, present.
Frankie, St. Paul Park, present. Franzen.
Branson, St. Paul, present.
Franzen, St. Paul, present. Frazier.
Frazier, New Hope, present.
Frazier, New Hope, present. Frederick.
Frederick, St. Paul, present.
Frederick, St. Paul, present. Freiburg.
Freiburg, New Hope, present.
Freiburg, New Hope, present. Garofalo.
Garofalo, Farmington, present.
Garofalo, Farmington, present. Gomez.
Gomez, St. Paul, present.
Gomez, St. Paul, present. Green.
Green, Foston, present.
Green, Foston, present. Greenman.
Greenman, St. Paul, present.
Greenman, St. Paul, present. Grossel. Excused. Grunhagen.
Grunhagen, Glencoe, present.
Grunhagen, Glencoe, present. Haley. Haley, St. Paul, present. Hamilton.
Hamilton, St. Paul, present.
Hamilton, St. Paul, present. Hanson R.
Hanson R., St. Paul, present.
Hanson R. St. Paul, present. Hanson J.
Hanson J. St. Paul, present.
Hanson J. St. Paul, present. Hassan.
Hassan, Minneapolis, present.
Hassan, Minneapolis, present. Houseman.
Houseman, St. Paul, present.
Houseman, St. Paul, present. Heinrich.
Heinrich, St. Paul, present.
Heinrich, St. Paul, present. Heinzman.
Heinzman, St. Paul, present.
Heinzman, St. Paul, present. Her, St. Paul, present. Hertos.
Hertos, Greenfield, present.
Hertos, Greenfield, present. Hollins.
Collins, St. Paul, present.
Hollins, St. Paul, present. Hornstein.
Hornstein, Minneapolis, present.
Hornstein, Minneapolis, present. Howard.
Howard, Richfield, present.
Howard, Richfield, present. Hewitt.
Hewitt, Rosemount, present.
Hewitt, Rosemount, present. Igo.
Igo, St. Paul, present.
Igo, St. Paul, present. Johnson.
Johnson, St. Paul, present.
Johnson, St. Paul, present. Jordan.
Jordan, St. Paul, present.
Jordan, St. Paul, present. Jurgens.
Jurgens, St. Paul, present.
Jurgens, St. Paul, present. Keeler.
Keeler, St. Paul, present.
Keeler, St. Paul, present. Keel.
Keel, Hammond Township, present.
Keel, Hammond Township, present. Cleveland.
Cleveland, Plymouth, present.
Cleveland, Plymouth, present. Kegel.
Hagel, Spring Lake Park, present.
Kegel, Spring Lake Park, present. Katiza-Wattoon.
Katiza-Wattoon, Eden Prairie, present.
Katiza-Wattoon, Eden Prairie, present. Kosnick.
Cosmic, St. Paul, present.
Kosnick, St. Paul, present. Creshaw, excused. Lee.
Lee, Minneapolis, present.
Lee, Minneapolis, present. Liebling.
Liebling, Rochester, present.
Liebling, Rochester, present. Lilly.
Lily, Oakdale, present.
Lilly, Oakdale, present. Lippert.
Lippert, Northfield, present.
Lippert, Northfield, present. Lislegard.
Lislegard, St. Paul, present.
Lislegard, St. Paul, present. Long.
Long, Minneapolis, present.
Long, Minneapolis, present. Lucero.
Lucero, Wright County, present.
Lucero, Wright County, present. Lewick.
Lewick, St. Paul, present.
Lewick, St. Paul, present. Mariani.
Mariani, St. Paul, present.
Mariani, St. Paul, present. Marquardt.
Marquardt, Dilworth, present.
Marquardt, Dilworth, present. Mason.
Mason, Egan, present.
Mason, Egan, present. McDonald.
McDonald, Delano, present.
McDonald, Delano, present. Mecklin.
Mecklen, Sherburne County, present.
Mecklin, Sherburne County, present. Miller. Miller, St. Paul, present. Moeller.
Moeller, Shoreview, present.
Moeller, Shoreview, present. Moran.
Moran, St. Paul, present.
Moran, St. Paul, present. Morrison.
Morrison, Deep Haven, present.
Morrison, Deep Haven, present. Mortensen.
Mortensen, St. Paul, present.
Mortensen, St. Paul, present. Mueller. Mueller, St. Paul, present. Munson.
Munson, St. Paul, present.
Munson, St. Paul, present. Murphy.
Murphy, Hermantown, present.
Murphy, Hermantown, present. Nash.
Nash, Waconia, present.
Nash, Waconia, present. Nelson M.
Nelson M., Brooklyn Park, present.
Nelson M. Brooklyn Park, present. Nelson N.
Nelson N., St. Paul, present.
Nelson N. St. Paul, present. New Brindley. New Brindley, St. Paul, present. Noor.
Noor, Minneapolis, present.
Noor, Minneapolis, present. Novotny.
Novotny, Elk River, present.
Novotny, Elk River, present. O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll, St. Paul, present. Olson B.
Olson B., Elmore, present.
Olson B. Elmore, present. Olson L.
Olson L. Duluth, present.
Olson L. Duluth, present. O'Neill.
O'Neill, Maple Lake, present.
O'Neill, Maple Lake, present. Pulowski.
Pulowski, Winona, present.
Pulowski, Winona, present. Petersburg.
Petersburg, St. Paul, present.
Petersburg, St. Paul, present. Farr.
Farr, LeSueur, present.
Farr, LeSueur, present. Pearson. Pearson. Pinto.
Pinto, St. Paul, present.
Pinto, St. Paul, present. Poston. Excused. Pryor.
Pryor, Minnetonka, present.
Pryor, Minnetonka, present. Quam.
Quam, Byron, present.
Quam, Byron, present. Raleigh.
Raleigh, St. Paul, present.
Raleigh, St. Paul, present. Rasmussen. Rasmussen, St. Paul, present. Ryer.
Ryer, St. Paul, present.
Ryer, St. Paul, present. Richardson.
Richardson, Mendota Heights, present.
Richardson, Mendota Heights, present. Robbins. Robbins, St. Paul, present. Sandell.
Sandell, St. Paul, present.
Sandell, St. Paul, present. Sandsted.
Sandsted, Hibbing, present.
Sandsted, Hibbing, present. Schumacher.
Schumacher, Laverne, present.
Schumacher, Laverne, present. Schultz.
Schultz, Duluth, present.
Schultz, Duluth, present. Scott. Excused. Stevenson.
Stevenson, St. Paul, present.
Stevenson, St. Paul, present. Sundin.
Sundin, St. Paul, present.
Sundin, St. Paul, present. Swazinski.
Swazinski, Nordland Township, present.
Swazinski, Nordland Township, present. Tice.
Ice, St. Cloud, present.
Tice, St. Cloud, present. Thompson.
Thompson, St. Paul, present.
Thompson, St. Paul, present. Torkelson. Excused. Erdahl. Erdahl, St. Paul, present. Vang.
Vang, Brooklyn Center, present.
Vang, Brooklyn Center, present. Waslewick.
Waslewick, White Bear Township, present.
Waslewick, White Bear Township, present. West.
West, Blaine, present.
West, Blaine, present. Winkler. Winkler, St. Paul, present. Wolgamott. Wolgamott, St. Paul, present. Zhang Jie.
Zhang Jie, St. Paul, present.
Zhang Jie, St. Paul, present. Zhang Ti.
Zhang T. Maplewood, present.
Zhang Ti, Maplewood, present. Joachim.
Joachim, St. Paul, present.
Joachim, St. Paul, present. Speaker Hartman. Speaker Hartman, St. Paul, present. Pearson. Pearson.
A quorum is present. The clerk will read the journal of the preceding day.
Journal of the House, 92nd session, 2021, 18th day, St. Paul, Minnesota, Thursday, February 25th, 2021.
If there is no objection, further reading of the journal will be dispensed with, and the journal will be approved as corrected by the chief clerk. Hearing no objection, the journal is approved as corrected by the chief clerk. Reports of standing committees and divisions. A copy of this order of business is online. If there is no objection, the reports will be adopted. Hearing no objection, the reports are adopted. Second reading of House files.
Second reading House File number 300.
Second reading.
Second reading House File number 711.
Second reading. Introduction and first reading of House files. The following House files have been offered for introduction today. The chief clerk will report the House files and give them their first reading.
Introduction and first reading of House Files 1685 through 1807.
First reading House files 1685 through 1807. Messages from the Senate.
Message from the Senate, Madam Speaker. I hereby announce the passage by the Senate of the following Senate files herewith transmitted. Senate File number 1 and Senate File number 694. The message is signed Cal R. Ludeman, Secretary of the Senate.
First reading of Senate files.
First reading Senate File number 1, an act relating to state government. The bill is being referred to the Committee on Rules and Legislative Administration. First reading Senate File number 694, an act relating to state government. The bill is being referred to the Committee on Commerce, Finance, and Policy.
Calendar for the day. The first bill on the calendar for the day is House File 91. The clerk will report the bill.
House File number 91, number 1 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to the environment, the second engrossment.
I call on the member from Dakota, Representative Hansen, to explain your bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members of the House. House File 91 relates to dry cleaners, and many of us use a dry cleaner or have a dry cleaner in our district. So why is this bill here? For several years, we've tried to resolve challenges with the dry cleaner account, which is used to reimburse dry cleaners for expenses with the cleanup of perchloroethylene. So what this bill does is it bans perchloroethylene in 2025 so that we will be reducing the amount of perchloroethylene to clean up. It appropriates $213,000 from the dry cleaner account to reimburse those dry cleaners who have already done the cleanup and need to be reimbursed. So in these difficult times with COVID, if you've got a reimbursement that you're waiting on because you've already spent the money, this is an important thing to do. And then finally, we take funds from an existing appropriation that were unused and then cancel that appropriation, put it in with the remediation fund and use that for cost share for those dry cleaners to meet the 2025 deadline for perchlorate, where they will have equipment that does not use perchloroethylene. That is the bill, and I have an amendment.
There's an amendment at the desk. The clerk will report the amendment.
Hansen R. moves to amend House File number 91, the second engrossment as follows. The amendment is coded A5.
Representative Hansen, to your amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The A5 amendment is technical in nature. We forgot the letter B in drafting with one of the statutes, and then the titles did not conform with the Senate. So we worked with the Senate to make sure that this lines up, and I would ask for your support for the A5 amendment.
Discussion to the A5 amendment. Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the A5 amendment, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails. The amendment is adopted. There are no further amendments at the desk. The clerk will give the bill its third reading.
Third reading, House File Number 91, as amended.
Third reading as amended. Discussion to the bill. The member from Crow Wing, Representative Hansen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to stand in support of the bill today. I think that this is a step in the right direction. Our dry cleaners are hurting around the state, and this issue has become ever more difficult in the current situation as COVID has affected them massively. I would like to also point out, however, that even though this is a step in the right direction, as I mentioned, there's more to do. The fee structure that the dry cleaners are affected by needs work. And Chair Hansen and I have talked about that extensively. We'll probably continue to see legislation worked on and coming forward. I look forward to that. I'll be voting yes, and I support the bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The member from Dakota, Representative Garofalo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Would the author of the bill yield for a question?
Representative Hansen, will you yield for a question?
Yes, I will.
He will. Representative Garofalo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Hansen, I don't need a long answer to this question. I would just prefer a yes or no answer. Is today your birthday?
Yes.
Representative Hansen.
Yes, it is.
Representative Garofalo.
Oh, thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Any further discussion to the bill? Seeing none, seeing none, the clerk will take the roll on the bill as amended. Those who are voting remotely, please vote. Will the clerk call the names of all those members who have not voted yet?
Davids.
David's aye.
Davids, aye. Davney.
Daphne, aye.
Davney, aye. Detmer.
Okay, sorry, I had a vote there, sorry. Yeah, if you could resend those to me.
Detmer, aye.
Detmer, aye. Fisher.
And I thank you so much.
Aye.
Fisher, aye. Frazier.
To get all these generated.
Frazier, aye.
Frazier, aye. Freiberg.
Freiberg, aye.
Freiberg, aye. Green.
Green, aye.
Green, aye. Gruenhagen.
Gruenhagen, aye.
Gruenhagen, aye. Haley. Haley, aye. Hausman. Hausman.
Houseman, aye.
Hausman, aye. Hewitt.
Hewitt, aye.
Hewitt, aye. Mariani.
Mariani, aye.
Mariani, aye. Mason.
Mason, aye.
Mason, aye. McDonald.
McDonald, aye.
McDonald, aye. Mortensen.
Mortensen, aye.
Mortensen, aye. Munson.
Munson, aye.
Munson, aye. Nash.
Nash, aye.
Nash, aye. Sundin.
Sundin, aye.
Sundin, aye. Swazinski.
Wazinski, aye.
Swazinski, aye. Zhang T.
Zhang T, aye.
Zhang T, aye.
Pearson.
Pearson, aye.
Pearson, aye.
The clerk will close the roll. There being 128 ayes and 0 nays, the bill is passed as amended and its title agreed to. Motions and resolutions. There are copies of the non-controversial motions at the House desk and online. Without objection, we'll take action on those motions first. Hearing no objection, the motions prevail.
Hansen R. moves that House File Number 1237 be recalled from the Committee on Climate and Energy, Finance and Policy and be re-referred to the Committee on Judiciary, Finance and Civil Law.
Representative Hansen, to your motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The report was sent in error to Climate, and it is supposed to go to Judiciary. So this is the relating to penalties for offenses with the DNR.
Any discussion on the Hansen motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails.
Olson L. moves that House File Number 1481 be recalled from the Committee on Workforce and Business Development, Finance and Policy and be re-referred to the Committee on State Government, Finance and Elections.
The member from St. Louis, Representative Olson, to your motion.
I do, Speaker Hortman. The bill that I talked to both the chairs and they agreed because this is a bill relating to the Port Authority in Duluth and does not need to be seen in workforce and can be sent to state government finance.
Any discussion to the Olson motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no.
Aye.
The motion prevails.
Rasmussen moves that House File Number 1559 be recalled from the Committee on Early Childhood Finance and Policy and be re-referred to the Committee on Human Services, Finance and Policy.
Representative Rasmussen, which county are you from?
Otter Tail.
The member from Otter Tail, Representative Rasmussen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House File 1559 updates Minnesota's Safe Place for Newborns law per some recommendations from the Department of Human Services. After talking with Chair Pinto and Chair Schultz, they both agree that the Human Services Committee would be a more proper venue for the bill.
Any discussion to the Rasmussen motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails.
Hollins moves that House File Number 1647 be recalled from the Committee on Commerce, Finance and Policy and be re-referred to the Committee on Climate and Energy, Finance and Policy.
The member from Ramsey, Representative Hollins, to your motion.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. That is my motion. This is a bill that involves the Department of Commerce assisting tribal councils on energy. So it is more appropriate to be heard within climate and energy. I've spoken to both the chair of Commerce and the chair of Climate and Energy, and they both agree with this motion.
Any discussion to the Hollins motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails. Announcements. The member from Hennepin, Representative Lee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can I ask Representative Franson to yield, please?
Typically under announcements, we don't ask somebody to yield, but if you are recognizing another birthday, we might allow it this one time.
Yes, I am, Madam Speaker.
Representative Franson, will you yield for a question? She may be celebrating Representative Lee.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Madam Speaker. Just wanted to make that note that it is also Representative Franson's birthday. Thank you.
Any other announcements? Any actual announcements? Representative Winkler.
Madam Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until 3:30 p.m. Thursday, March 4th, 2021.
Representative Winkler moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until 3:30 p.m. Thursday, March 4th. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails. Representative Winkler.
Madam Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
Representative Winkler moves that the House do now adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. The motion prevails. The House stands adjourned until 3:30 p.m. Thursday, March 4th, 2021.